All right, let's just jump right in because something huge is happening in the real estate world. And I'm not just talking about the usual market ups and downs. Nope. We're talking about a fundamental power struggle that's basically reshaping the entire industry from the ground up. All these headlines you've been seeing, they're pointing to a brand new battleground, and we're going to break it all down. And yeah, that quote just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It really frames everything we're talking about today. The moves we're seeing from these massive companies, they're not just random business deals. They are absolutely strategic chess moves in a much larger game. A game for control over who's going to own the real estate journey, from the very first click to long after the keys are in hand. That's the million-dollar question, right? On the surface, it looks incredibly complicated. You've got big names, huge amounts of money flying around. It's a lot. But, if you start to peel back the layers, you begin to see the core conflict, the real fight, taking shape. And it all kicks off with one very specific, industry-shaking move, that recent partnership between Compass, Rocket, and Redfin. So this deal, it's really the catalyst here. It's the spark that's lighting up a much, much bigger trend. It's basically a giant flashing sign that these Wall Street-backed players are thinking completely differently. They're not just playing to win the next transaction. They're playing to win the entire customer relationship for life. Let's see how they're planning to do it. And that brings us to our first major battleground, the inevitable collision course between the traditional real estate model, represented by the MLS, and this new aggressive model being pushed by big tech and companies with just insane amounts of capital. These are two completely different philosophies about how this industry should work. What's so wild about this is just how clearly you can see the two sides lined up. On one side, you've got the traditional MLS systems. We're talking hundreds of them, all kind of doing their own thing with their own rules, all hyper-focused on one thing, the individual sale. But on the other side, you have these consolidated, data-hungry tech giants who are thinking way bigger. They're thinking about the entire customer ecosystem. It's a classic showdown, the decentralized past versus a centralized future. And look, this fragmentation, that's the Achilles heel of the traditional model. It's its biggest vulnerability. When you have so many different MLS organizations trying to create consistent data standards is a nightmare. It makes it almost impossible to innovate quickly and at scale. And when leadership kind of kicks the can down the road on making tough, unifying decisions, well, it just leaves the door wide open for these well-funded tech players to swoop in and offer a much slicker alternative. Okay, so here's where things get really interesting. You have to understand that this fight isn't actually about property listings anymore. That's the old prize. The new prize, the thing that big tech is laser focused on, is data. And more specifically, it's about capturing a customer and then maximizing their lifetime value. And this right here is the new strategy in a nutshell, the ecosystem model. Forget just selling a house. That's small thinking now. The goal is to own the entire home ownership journey. Think about it. Once a company helps you buy a home, they have you. They can offer you a mortgage, insurance, moving services, home repair. The list is endless. That first transaction is just the entry point into a very long, very profitable, and very data-rich relationship. And here's the playbook, laid out in 4 simple steps. Step 1, get the customer, usually through the home search. Step 2, aggregate every piece of data you can about them, what they're looking for, their finances, their habits. Step 3, use all that juicy data to start offering them more and more services. And finally, step 4, maximize their lifetime value by becoming their one-stop shop for literally everything related to their home. It's a powerful, self-reinforcing loop. Now, if this battle between the MLS and big tech is a fire and data is the fuel, then you can think of artificial intelligence as the tanker truck of gasoline that's about to get dumped on top of it all. AI is set to accelerate every single pressure point we've just talked about. It's the great accelerator. Right now, we're still in the very early innings of AI in real estate. But trust me, that is changing at lightning speed. Very soon, it's going to be deeply woven into the daily workflow of every agent and brokerage. And the end game here? Well, the companies that get a handle on AI first are going to create what's being called an unfair advantage. They'll be able to process data, predict what you want before you do, and serve customers in ways that the competition just can't. And this is the thing you have to get about AI. It's not some separate trend happening on the side. It is a force multiplier. It's going to make the data aggregators way more powerful, the ecosystem model way more effective, and the old fragmented system an even bigger liability. The gap between the tech haves and the have-nots, it's about to become a chasm. Okay, let's pull all these threads together now. We've talked about the players, we've talked about the new prize, and we've talked about the big accelerator. So, what does this all mean for the future of this industry? And maybe more importantly, what does it mean for the agents, the brokers, and for you, the consumer? So, if you remember anything from this, remember these key points. First, this whole battle is about control of the customer journey, not just commissions. Second, the new prize isn't the listing, it's customer data and lifetime value. Third, big tech is playing a completely different game, the ecosystem game. And finally, AI is the wild card that will create a massive, maybe even unfair advantage for those who adapt. The ones who figure this out first are the ones who are going to win. And that leaves us with the ultimate question, doesn't it? When all the dust settles from this massive collision between the old guard and the new tech titans, who's actually going to be on top? Will it be the decentralized, agent-focused model that we've known for decades? Or will it be the centralized, data-driven ecosystem of the future? Who is going to truly own the customer? That's the multi-trillion-dollar question that is going to define the next era of real estate.